Alright, guys, so we're back yet again. Just got off done doing the first review for Fear Street Part 1. Now we're going to be doing Part 2. Part 2, 1978. This is literally going back in time when you have Deanna and Josh from the first movie. They find C. Berman, aka Ziggy Berman, who is the older version, and she finds out about this is all happening again because it happened to her and her sister at a camp in 78. Now, she explains to them this whole story. She doesn't want Sam anywhere near her home, but at the same time, she starts realizing that no matter what she does, it's like she can't get away from it. Because what happened to her was tremendously messed up. It really messed her up on ways to where she's on a timer from everything from locking the doors, feeding her dog, going to bed, feeding herself, everything. And when they finally start informing of this story, you see a young C. Berman, aka Ziggy, who's played by Sadie Sink from Stranger Things. We got who plays her sister Emily Rudd, who plays Cindy Berman, and then a few others as well that looks familiar. Now, again, you go through where Ziggy, the one that's telling the story, we find that out later on, where she was picked on a lot during the summer camp, and her sister was her best friend at one point, but then she went to go to the straight and narrow, and she had this perfect boyfriend. And we find out that when she gets hurt, Ziggy does, we meet the mom of the one Ruby Lane who went crazy, and she finds out that there's going to be another name that's on that rock carving that we saw in the first film, and it turns out to be Cindy's boyfriend Tommy, who comes across, and we meet a very young Nick as well, who turns out to be the current sheriff in '94 that Ziggy liked, and he liked her as well, even though he was a counselor and she wasn't. And they were going to have this war between both towns at the camp, and it just goes crazy because between Cindy, her boyfriend, and two other counselors, they come across where Ruby's mother apparently came across other things as well, and they found like a witch's lair where it had a pentagram, there was candles, there was a lot of witch stuff, and there was names from all the killers that have been there for so long. And then they see Tommy's, and that's when Tommy just snaps and he becomes possessed and he just starts taking everyone out. And we're trying to figure out exactly why this is happening, even though this happened back in '78. And Cindy is just beyond distraught of like no matter what she did to be on the straight and narrow, it just blew up in her face. She could not get a break, and she just had a very bad relationship with her sister because again, it really runs into the films of like Deanna lost her mother, or her mother ran out or something, and her dad became a drunk. And then in this version, Cindy and Ziggy's mom was a drunk and their dad left, and they figured that they had nothing in their lives other than to be stuck in that town. So for some reason it seems like almost everybody's stuck in this town where one side has a very bad experiences and the other one are just very stuck up, have a lot of money or this and that, and don't ever want to leave because they have a good life, and the other ones they're trying to get out and they can't. But you have where everything starts connecting. There's a big massacre in the camp, and you have where between Cindy, Ziggy, and a few others, they're able to fight back, and they're finally able to take out Tommy. But then Tommy's able to come back yet again, not once but twice but three times, and then things get so crazy to where they figure out, okay, hey, we found the hand to the witch, and it was underneath where the outhouse was. Then they figure, okay, well, what if we try to bury it near the tree where she was hung? Which it does not work because all the killers show up, from Ruby to Tommy to a couple others that we hadn't seen yet until this film, and Cindy is willing to give up her life for her sister. She's already lost her boyfriend. She's already lost a former friend of hers that we meet in there, Alice. And then her boyfriend died too. And then Ziggy and her are killed in the film. And Nick is able to bring back Ziggy, and she's able to survive. But now all this trauma has gone on into several years of her life. And then by the very end of the film, we see where Ziggy is trying to get a hold of Nick, and I'm assuming to get Sam in custody or to show him what's going on. Like, hey, look, it's happening again. Even though he already put a note in her door of saying, hey, things are starting to happen again. Maybe we can't run from it this time. So it's going to be rather interesting to see. And then Dina, she goes with her brother to find the hand that Ziggy and her sister tried burying that was in a tree. It turned out to be in the mall. They moved it. She was able to grab the witch's hand. And as soon as she was going to put it with the body they found where the car crashes in the first movie, her nose started bleeding. And then once she touched everything, she started seeing everything. So that makes me wonder, is she going to be a killer as well? Because then at the very end of the film, either her soul, her essence, or whatever is transported into the body of the witch in 1666, apparently where it all started. So that's where I'm at right now. Um, I will definitely say this. This movie had a lot of old vibes, like I've been saying. Had a lot of old school Friday 13th vibes, which I loved. The music in here was crazy. One song that really shocked me was Carry On My Wayward Son. Anytime I hear that song, I think it's Supernatural. If you guys know, I'm a big Supernatural fan. They played it twice, so I'm kind of wondering if that was a homage to Supernatural to give credit to where credit's due because of how big Supernatural is in the anime, not the anime, but the horror paranormal world of shows and television and movies. So I think that again, they've had a lot of good music. If you guys grew up listening to like a lot of 70s music, 80s music, 90s music, then you're probably going to enjoy these first two films. So I got two more films left to go right now for the Fear Street franchise, unless they make more. But I'm definitely going to get more reviews out for you guys. But what do you think about this? Was it a good movie, a bad movie? Did it kind of help make sense? Me personally, I think they did a good job with connecting the dots of other characters and how this happened and why this happened and where this is and where that is, to be able to go further back and kind of play connect the dots so that way the viewers can kind of understand the story, especially for those, I guess, that haven't read the books, because again, I'm not sure if the books are like this. I'm not 100% sure, so if anyone has read the books, let me know and see if it's different than the movie or it's just a good adaptation of the books. I'm not entirely sure yet, unless I look it up myself. So if you guys want to let me know that, by all means, let me know. Let me know what you guys thought about the movie. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you guys did, leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more content, and I'll see you as always on the next one.